Sanity was always the unnatural state. Sanity was the invader. At the end of that long entropic road, when all your humanity and sense is withered away, only the madness remains.
This is DreadX Collection, a collection of horror games created by 10 different developers. Every game in DreadX is a game which was developed within around 7 days by a single developer and then added into a collection of horror games, each one of them being kind of a puzzle piece in a larger storyline. The first game we are focusing on today in this episode is The Pay is Nice by OddBreeze, which features the player as a scientist working at a corporation developing medicine controlling the brain. In this video I will quickly review the game on a few simple aspects and tell you what happens within the game. Also, since it's the very first time I create a video in this format, I would appreciate any feedback in the comments down below. We start off in a dark hallway with a fancy fucking high-tech door behind us and the instruction to walk forward. We see the name and slogan of the corporation called Mindfulness, and we walk into the men's locker room to change our gear for the job. While we do that, we kind of figured out who we are playing as. We are a scientist. Or at least that's what we were supposed to think, I guess. Working on different experiments for the company. Each time we get these notes telling us what the fuck we're actually doing, ends by saying, the pay is nice, which is, I guess, empathizing the whole I have no clue what I'm actually doing part. We can quickly figure out that this company is some sort of secret project by the entire vibe and instructions given to us. We even shoot this guy, although we have no clue what he did and we will not find out throughout the entire game, just saying. We then have to walk to our office by going through these hellish corridors for some reason, which for some reason have goofy flickering lights and are absolutely dark. This entire game kind of feels like a bad dream where nothing really makes sense but you're just going with it because you have no other choice, other to wake up, I suppose. The game even tells us that the company is obsessed with security and that the schedule is set in a way that you won't even see any other scientists working there. There could literally be like 0 other scientists and you wouldn't know. Of course we don't know how this company even exists. The guy just says it's probably funded by the government, but now that we are in the office, the fun really begins. We can't leave until the company gives us the permission to do so. Now we finally figure out what we were actually doing. We do experiments on the human brain by gathering data, doing analysis, and running simulations in the experiment room. Quite simple, I guess. So let's start with some experiments. No, we have to find all these notes that this idiot has scattered around the place. Great. On our way we encounter some documents and other experiments like these bugs that this fella is breeding. We even got some in blue and red. He exclaims that these have separated into groups after he painted them in different colors. Probably some racism analogy, I honestly don't even know. We find some more notes and move on. I kind of struggled in finding the last note, which made me really feel uncomfortable. But of course the note suddenly appears on the wall where it shouldn't have been. Well, now we have every note and holy shit, look at that guy rotating at the wall and blood suddenly dis and reappearing. This is... come on. To be fair, this did kind of freak me out because I seriously did not expect that, but there's nothing else really happening aside from, well, that I guess. Now we can mix our different medications to create one of these like weird meds that we are supposed to simulate. We do that by messing around with the voltage and milliamps and common side effects of the medications, which is literally just trial and error, nothing all too special. I mean, you could also read the notes that tell you what to do, but fuck that. We go to the experiment room where we take a look at our test subjects and one is missing, of course. That is apparently like really, really bad, and just as I thought we would now have some more gameplay, the credits roll. Of course, this was just the entry to the series, but this game didn't offer all too much, honestly. It was essentially a walking simulator, but at least it tried to be sort of challenging with that little quest. I'm definitely not disappointed by this, because you can see that there was some effort put into this. Hell, try making a functional solid game with a decent lore and good environment within like 7 days. It's really not that bad and sets off a good start to the collection in my opinion. But now we go to the ratings. Okay, hello, this is me like 1 week later after recording this. I will now redo the ratings cause they kinda suck. First we get to the atmosphere. The atmosphere was really well built in my opinion, with the dark and uncomfortable building you're in. This feeling of being watched at all times while feeling isolated at the same time was really well made in my opinion. It's probably like a 7.5 out of 10. Now over to the gameplay. It was mostly a walking simulator, but the part with the medication was fun. 7 out of 10. The storyline. Although I didn't exactly understand absolutely everything, most of it is kind of cryptic. I must say the entire feeling you get by reading the notes is really unique, and I really appreciate that they actually added some sort of lore in the first place into this, so this also gets a solid 7.5 out of 10. Now to the most important part actually of this rating, the scariness. The dark corridor and the sudden scare there was pretty good, and I like the atmosphere and environment a lot, so overall this gets a 8 out of 10 honestly. I really liked it, and when I was playing I felt really I wasn't really exactly scared, but it really made me feel off, like it was so unsettling kind of. So we get a 8 out of 10 there. Overall we are going with a solid 75% rating. For a game made in 7 days, it's surprisingly well made, and I very much appreciate the effort put into this. Unless it is some sort of acid dump game, but I just hope it isn't. So, this was my rating for The Pay is Nice by OddBreeze. In the next video, we will take a look at the second game in this series. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and see ya.